So, Wallace, what did the doctor say about your leg? Will you be fit to play this week?
Oh, I don't think so, Paul. It's a shame, really. I was really looking forward to playing against Accrington Stantler.
That is a real shame. We could really have used a player like you this week. A composed head who can just keep momentum.
Yes, I agree, it is a real shame, and I hope that we can still win the game, because if we don't win the game, my father will make me watch anime with him. Lol.
I could not have said it any better myself, Mantine. So, Wallace, what are you going to do while we're training?
Oh, I don't know. I'm a little bit too upset to think about that right now. What do you think I should do, Mantine?
Spit on me and call me daddy.
What?
Penetrate my bumhole.
Are you okay, Mantine?
George Bush did 9/11.
By the way, Wallace, Latias gave me her number to give to you. It would appear that she has a little bit of a crush on you.
Really? I suppose I'll have to give her a call later then, you know, find out what's going on.
You do not have to hide your true feelings from me, Wallace.
Oh, shut your mouth! How is it going, PPL fans, and welcome to PPL Division 2 Season 4 Week 5, where Birmingham Spritzee will be facing Accrington Stantler. Now, unfortunately, before we get into the team, we have a little bit of injury news. Silvally, Wallace, our captain, has unfortunately picked up a leg injury, which means that he will be unavailable for selection this week. A bit of a shame, because he would have been great in midfield this week, but yeah, we've got a squad, a very strong squad here, and I'm hoping that we can actually pick up a win here despite his absence. But yeah, Ellie, Accrington Stantler. The last time I played against Ellie was 2 years ago in PPL Season 1, and she got a first turn wake up freeze. If you want to go and find that video in my archives, you can, but yeah, I'm out for a bit of blood here. I'm out for revenge. So yeah, the team that Ellie has will appear on screen now, which is Excadrill, Clefable, Conkelder, Alakazam, Crobat, Tyranitar, Roserade, Poliwrath, Magnemite, and Shelmet. Now, instant thoughts on this team. Excadrill, Clefable, Conkelder, Alakazam, Crobat, Tyranitar, Roserade. Those 6 are coming. So it will be Excadrill, Clefable, Conkelder, Crobat, Tyranitar, Roserade. Those are the 6 that are coming. She's not bringing Alakazam. She's not bringing Poliwrath. She's not bringing Magnemite. She's not bringing Shelmet. So, yeah, those are the predictions that I have for this game. I doubt that they're going to come true, because I'm not exactly the best with predicting teams, but yeah, I'm thinking that's the team, because Excadrill does so much work to me and Conkelder hurts me so much. But yeah, let's actually get into the team, and show you what I brought. So as you can see from whenever it clicks on, I've brought Adam Sandler, the Hariyama, with Assault Vest, Max Attack, 212 Speed, and 44 Spadef. The reason for the Assault Vest is so in case I have to take a hit from the likes of Roserade, Special Crobat, and Clefable, and Alakazam, if it does come. If I have to take a hit from those, I can do, and I can retaliate and kill them with my coverage. My coverage here is enough to pretty much hit everything on the team super effectively, except for Shelmet, and except for Alakazam and Conkelder, which I don't need to hit super effectively anyway, because close combat 2-hit KOs are Conkelder unless it's physically defensive, and yeah, Alakazam just dies to someone flicking it. So yeah, we just needed to hit things with super effective moves, and Sheer Force is just there to power up my Poison Jab and Ice Punch a little bit, because I can't run Life Orb this week. We've ran enough speed on this so that we can speed creep a Clefable trying to speed creep my Mega Scizor, which is an interesting one. I like speed creeps, they're fun. I'm pretty sure I've got this one right though, because yeah, you don't want a Mega Scizor setting up on you or something. I mean, it was a logical thing to try and creep. It didn't require too much speed investment. But yeah, that's Hariyama. Hopefully he can do work for us. The next one we have is Tapu Koko Frosties with Tapunium Z. And the reason for that is, if you look at Tapu Koko's moveset as I'm scrolling through it here. Tell me what it has to hit Excadrill. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There is nothing it gets to hit Excadrill in the slightest. The best you're going to get, Hidden Power Ground. That's going to do nothing. So, the way I kind of circumvented it was that Z Nature's Madness plus a Brave Bird on an offensive Excadrill is a 100% KO. Because Brave Bird does a minimum of 25%, Z Nature's Madness does 75%, and if it shows it has leftovers, I can U-turn out. So that seemed to be the best play for me. Brave Bird really hurts Conkeldurr, really hurts Shelmet, really hurts Roserade, really hurts Poliwrath. U-turn, always nice for initiative. And we do have the tasty little Spark, because everything I needed electric coverage for gets mauled by Spark. We didn't need to have to risk the recoil damage of Wild Charge, because Spark hit everything that I needed it to enough anyway. But yeah, that's Koko. Max speed to try and speed tie with Crobat, and max attack because max attack. Oh god, I wish Showdown wasn't lagging for me right now. I'm trying to click things and it won't let me because it's like, oh no. But yeah, Mega Sizzle. Mega Sizzle here is an awkward set because the investment I've got on it, I've got enough speed to creep a Clefable trying to creep it. I've got enough defense to live, I believe it is 3 Excadrill Earthquakes at neutral without Life Orb. So Earthquake should be a 4-hit KO. Enough attack investment as I could manage, and you know, max HP. I couldn't go too offensive here because I needed the defense, I needed answers to Excadrill. She's asking me a question with Excadrill, I need to give it friggin' answers. So yeah, Sword Stance, Bullet Punch, Roost and Superpower. Superpower just so I can hurt Excadrill. I can Sword Stance up on things like Shelmet and I believe some Crobats I can get Sword Stance up on, Alakazam, unless it's running Hidden Power Fire, which I doubt, because it'll probably want to bring Hidden Power Electric. No, we won't, because it has Thunderbolt. Yeah, things and stuff. And Excadrill I can Sword Stance up on, and bop it, and then possibly set myself up for a sweep. So yeah, Mega Sizzle is going to have to be my Excadrill counter here. It's not fun, but it has to be done. Now on to Hera, who is actually going to be named because I messed up with the Jenning. But hey ho, we have enough special defense on Ashton Akai here to live I think it was 2 Hidden Power Electrics from a Roserade, and enough physical defenses I could manage to live. I think it was a +2 Rock Slide from Excadrill. And Charty Berry, because of that's how we live the Rock Slide from Excadrill. We have Air Slash, Scald, Defog, Roost, because those moves are pretty much what I needed. They're absolutely what I needed. I needed Air Slash because I needed to hit Poliwrath and I needed to hit Roserade. And Conkeldurr, I needed Scald because I needed to hit Excadrill and Tyranitar. That's all I needed for this game. I wanted Mantine here because I needed to deal with the possibility of Spike Stack, because if you look at my squad, not a lot of it is actually doing well against rocks and spikes. Hariyama grounded, Koko grounded, Mega Sizzle grounded, Stoutland grounded. A lot of my team is on the floor and is taking max damage from spikes and stealth rock, so I wanted to try and eliminate the possibility of that happening ASAP. So yeah, that's Mantine, and yeah, P Holler over here. This guy is an interesting little set. Enough speed to outrun Adamant Max Speed Excadrill, I believe. No, it was Jolly Excadrill, I think. I'm pretty sure it was. Something like that. It was to outrun something. That's the way I remember it. It was to outrun something. I needed 204 to do so. Max attack, just because, you know, hurt things, and just the rest into HP because it's always good to have more HP. Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Stone Edge, U-turn with Focus Sash. Now the reason for that was because if Excadrill gets too out of hand, if it sets up a couple of Swords Dances and it's about to destroy my face with Earthquakes and Iron Heads, I have this Landorus here as a last resort. If you know me, you know I love mons like Mega Banette and Ditto because they act as insurance policy. This was my insurance policy. If I mess up, I have something here to try and stop the game from running away from me. And plus, I'm going to friggin' hurt with Earthquakes and Stone Edges here. I'm going to do so much damage with this thing that she's not really going to have many answers to it. But yeah, Landorus here is always so nice with U-turn because it means that I have more options for momentum, which is what my team absolutely thrives on. And finally, once it will click on, Stoutland, Bridgewater, making his debut alongside Mantine this week. 2 debutantes. We have Return, we have Superpower, we have Play Rough, we have Facade. And we also have a Choice Scarf with interesting EVs. The EVs this week are to outrun Jolly Crobat with Scarf. And I needed Jolly 172 speed to do that, unfortunately, which meant that I had to lose out on a bit of attack power, but Jolly Stoutland Return still hurts quite a lot. We need Superpower for Excadrill, we need Play Rough for Conkeldurr and Tyranitar, and the rest are hurt enough by Return that in case I get burnt by a random Scold from Poliwrath if that decides to come, or like I get paralysed, I can really nuke things with Facade. Base 210 Facade is still going to cause a lot of pain to anything. I decided to put the rest into defense so that I have more of a chance of living a hit from Excadrill. I think it was 64 defense and 20 HP because that was enough to... That made Earthquake do the minimum possible damage it could rather than popping it all into HP or defense. It felt like that was a better option for me. And yeah, that's the team. So if you can't tell, I tried to rush through that a little bit because the battle is long. I'm warning you now, it's a hell of a game. It's a really, really, really tactical game. So yeah, let's pop into it and let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get into it and see what happened. So here we are, about to get into the game, and the team that Ellie has brought is Crobat, Clefable, Shelmet, Excadrill, Roserade, and Tyranitar. Shelmet coming in place of what I thought was a very obvious Conkeldurr, and that scared me a lot because I was very, very scared of Conkeldurr, but I didn't do any prep on Shelmet at all. I didn't think about that thing coming. That thing wasn't even in the back of my mind. I prepped for the most offensive, high-hitting, hyper-offense team that Ellie could bring against me, and Shelmet being here really catches me off guard. Also, I was a little bit unsure of what Clefable was. I was thinking Fizdef Calm Mind or Cosmic Power, because Cosmic Power would have been really annoying against my team as I only had Swords Dance with Scizor as my only way of beating that, and if she's unaware it wouldn't beat it anyway, so yeah, that was a bit of an annoyance. But yeah, let's get into the game and see what happened when Birmingham Spritzee took on Accrington Stantler. The first time I've played Ellie in 2 years. Good luck, have fun, Ellie. Hope this is a good game. Now, she's going to lead off with her Crobat, and I'm going to lead off with what I thought was a very good Landorus lead, because Focus Sash meant that no matter what she did, I could either gain momentum or judge a situation. I assumed that she would be something like a Super Fang set, so I just go straight for the Stone Edge as she goes for Roost, thinking that I was a Scarf. She thought that I was a Scarf, so she goes for the Roost to heal off any damage. So I get a nice little Stone Edge on this thing, and then next turn I get to set up my Stealth Rocks as she goes out a bit scared. So that's some nice damage on Crobat early. That's lovely damage, and I have my Rocks up very early, so I'm in a very good position. Now I know that I'm going to be faster than this thing, and I'm just going to U-turn straight on out of there, because, yeah, why wouldn't I? I'm not going to stay in against the Clefable. And I go out into Tapu Koko because I can pretty much deal with whatever she wants to throw at me at this point, apart from maybe a Life Orb Moonblast. But she goes for Moonlight. Now, at this point, I'm like, okay, so you've definitely got Recovery. You're definitely a defensive Clefable. So, yeah, I can consider what happens from there. I'm going to click U-turn here as she's going to go into Excadrill. No, I'm not. I'm going to go for Nature's Madness, sorry. As she's going to go into Excadrill. I kind of predicted this, but I didn't want to go straight for the Z Nature's Madness this early on in the game. In case she stayed in and went for another Moonlight, she would have just healed all that up. So I'm going to get a nice bit of damage off on the Excadrill, but I'm going to pause it here. 2 things to note about that Excadrill. 1, it's Mold Breaker, 2, it has leftovers, so this is not the Excadrill I assumed was coming. I thought that she was going to be bringing a Life Orb Swords Dance one, because that would have really hurt me with Sand Rush. But because that's not what it is, I feel a lot more safe against this thing now. So as it's going to get its leftovers back, I'm going to go for a very safe and all of a sudden U-turn against it. Now, going to judge what kind of set this is. That's physically defensive, because I am the heaviest of attack invested Jolly Cocos, and that is not an offensive Excadrill. And he reveals it a bit more by going for rocks on my Landorus switch in. So in before rocks, still have my Focus Sash intact, but now there's an Excadrill that's going to do things against me. So yeah, she's going to withdraw this thing, doesn't want it to die that early. She's obviously got it as a check to Coco, and she's going to go out into Clefable. As what I'm going to do, well, it's going to take Stealth Rock damage. I'm going to go for a U-turn, get a bit more momentum. I felt like I didn't know what she was going to go into, so I just assumed that by going for like a U-turn there, I could get on out into a favourable matchup. Now, I bring in Hariyama here because I know that I'm going to outspeed this thing if it's defensive, and if it's offensive, I've speed crept it enough. But she's going to withdraw and go into Cool Hat, which is the Shelmet, as I go for a Poison Jab on the switch. I'm going to go for a Poison Jab here, and you're going to see it's going to take Stealth Rock damage, and this is going to do not too much. But here's where I make my first misplay of the game. I didn't think that another Poison Jab would kill, even though it was Sheer Force boosted. So I'm going to go for an Ice Punch here in case she decides to predict me going for that and go into Crobat. But like I said, I didn't prep for this thing. I didn't know what it was here to do. So what I'm going to do, as I go for the Ice Punch, I'm going to hit it. It's not going to kill. It's going to go for Recover. And that's really, really, really annoying because I don't know what this thing's going to do. It's fat. I don't know how I'm going to kill it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch out and go into Ashton Akai, who is named Ashton Akai for no reason. I don't know why it's called that. It was just a gen file that Erik sent me. And it's going to go for Acid Armor. And now I'm like, oh god, I need to flinch this thing right now. Because I just remembered that Excelgor gets Baton Pass. So I'll go for the Air Slash. Please flinch. Flinch. Now why that's so important is because... I'm going to pause it after this turn. But why that's so important is because if she'd have Baton Passed into Clefable there, I would have had nothing to deal with it. Besides a rogue crit from Hariyama. I wouldn't have been able to beat that Clefable. Because if she'd have Baton Passed the +2 defense into it, it turns out later on that she is a Calm Mind Clefable. And if she has a +2 defense and goes goes into +6 with a Calm Mind, I can't break that. So we'll have to see how that affects the game. My laptop's being stupid, but yeah. She's going to go out into Nipples, the Tyranitar, as I go for another Air Slash, obviously trying to finish off that Shelmet. I don't want that thing coming back in and recovering on anything. But yeah, that Tyranitar is not going to take anything from this Air Slash. It's not going to take anything, as I'm going to get buffeted by Sandstorm and reveal I'm not leftovers. So I didn't want to take a Stone Edge from this thing. I felt like the safe play here was going to Hariyama because I can wall this thing to high hell. There's nothing it can do to hit me too effectively, as it reveals Thunderbolt. Now, that wouldn't have killed Mantine from where it was, but it gets the power hacks. So, Hariyama, if I had got Guts, would be doing a fuck ton of damage here. But she's going to reveal the Aerial Ace. Now, that was a bit spooky for me, because I didn't expect that, and it did way more than I wanted it to. And I'm going to go for Close Combat as she reveals the Chopple Berry. That's not going to matter. Not going to matter in the slightest. I am Assault Vested, but that's still not going to matter because it's just going to rip through this Tyranitar. There's no way it's living that. And yeah. So we've taken out the first Mon, but we've lost Hariyama essentially because it's at low health, it's paralyzed, so she can basically kill it with whatever. And I didn't feel like I wanted to have to switch into this Roserade here, but I get fully powered as I go for the Bullet Punch, so I can't tell what Roserade this is yet. Sludge Bomb's obviously going to finish me off here. But yeah, at least now I get the safe switch into Mantine. I don't have to switch into a Sludge Bomb yet. I can just go into Mantine, or I can go into Stoutland. Because I figured that if I can put offensive pressure on early, I can, you know, wear her team down with a combination of her own sandstorm damage and my team's high offense. So she's going to go into what I assumed was her check to this thing, which was the physically offensive Excadrill. But I have superpower, but I don't go for it because I'm not that much of a man. I'll go for return, hit what was in front of me, and yeah, that's going to do a significant chunk, but she's just going to get it back with leftovers. I could have gone for another one and potentially chunked it down, but I didn't feel like I could 2-hit KO it from where it was at. So I figured it's probably going for a rapid spin. So I'm going to go into my Mantine. I'm going to take whatever damage it can do to me. I can then live a Stone Edge with Charty Berry because this is physically defensive, and I can then recover on it. So yeah, she's not going to want to take a Scald from this range. My rocks are gone. It's not great, but she is going to indeed try and save this thing and go into the Crobat. Now this is going to be a series of very interesting plays that I'm not sure I want to narrate over, but I'm going to anyway. So this Crobat sat in front of me, and at this point I know I need to negate those leftovers, but it reveals Roost. Easy way to get your Crobat's health back is Roost on a Mantine. As I'm going to probably do the same thing and get my health back because I don't want to be low health and switching into that Roserade. I want to be able to switch in with high health and, you know, take like no damage from it. So yeah. Crobat is just going to keep going for Sludge Bombs here and keep trying to get a poison on me as I'm going to defog, get these rocks away, and I'm going to then start going for my own Scalds on it, try and score a burn. So we're basically both just fishing for hacks on our side now. So she's going to go for Heat Wave, trying to predict me to go into Scizor. But I'm not going to do that. I want a burn on this thing. I want damage on it. I don't want it to be at high health when I have to bring in stuff like Coco or Stoutland later. I want this thing as low as possible. It does not need to be at high health in this game. So yeah, Sludge Bomb, returned by another Scald. My Scalds are doing a lot more, but she does have leftovers recovery. So I get the burn eventually. It only took me 2 goes, but I'm not done, because I need to keep pressuring this thing. I need to keep trying to keep my health high as well. So yeah, I believe I go for a Roost here. She goes for a Roost herself, and she's going to get herself back up to a decent amount of health. I'm going to go for my own Roost because I want to be at full health. I don't want to have to be switching into a Roserade with half because it can 2-hit KO me then. I want to have to switch in with as much health as possible. But yeah, leftovers going to be negated by the burn, and it's just going to keep going on like this for a while because she still wants that poison on me. So yeah, we're going to Scald again, and she's going to Sludge Bomb here, and she's going to, I believe on this one, score the poison. Now that's more damaging to me than the Scald burn is to her, because she at least has leftovers to negate the chip damage, whereas I have nothing. My Charty Berry's not going to help me against this poison. And now I'm a little less useful than I was before. I don't have Heal Bell on anything this week either, so I can't get rid of it. So she's going to withdraw here, and that thing's at a decent amount of health, but it is burnt. And she's going to go into Ramona the Roserade, predicting my Scald. But I'm going to go out into my P-Holler, into Landorus. Now, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do here. So I go for Stealth Rocks, thinking, oh, she's going to be scared out and go back into Crobat. But what she is indeed going to do is go for the Energy Ball. Now, I felt like that was more of a safe play, because even if this thing did have Hidden Power Ice, I had a Focus Sash, I would have lived it. So now I finally get to judge what kind of set this thing is. That's offensive. That's an offensive Roserade, because my U-turn did way too much damage there. Non-stab U-turn. And at least I finally get to work out what this thing's set is. But it goes for Leech Seed on my Mantine switch in. It's going to get a bit of that health back. And I'm going to be worn down by both Leech Seed and Poison. Oh my god, it's disgusting. It's horrid. It's absolutely abhorrent. And Mantine's just losing all of its health. So she's going to indeed try and switch out, keep that Roserade around, and she's going to go out into Excadrill, predicting me to Roost or Air Slash, and I do indeed, I think, go for the Roost here, because I don't want to keep myself at low health, but I do go for the Air Slash. I fell for the bait, and now that Excadrill comes in, takes like nothing from that Air Slash, and this thing's going to get leftovers plus my Leech Seed back. So Mantine is now fairly unusable if this thing gets rocks up. or if I go for like a scold and try and, you know, burn this thing or kill it from here, I either gets rocks up and I'm then unable to revenge it, or I switch out here and keep Mantine around for fodder. I do go out, make the offensive play, the very high pressure play, and go into Landorus as she goes for the rapid spin, wearing Landorus down ever so slightly, but now no stealth rocks, so Shelmet could still come in at some point against something and possibly recover up. But she is indeed going to switch out into the Shelmet here, as I'm going to go for a U-turn, predicting the switch out again. Don't want to Earthquake what's in front of me. I'd rather just U-turn at the moment, wear things down. It's not going to kill it, unfortunately, but it does give me a nice opportunity to go into Coco and potentially pick up a kill. So, if you don't know, Coco's doing quite well in the GPA. It's on 8 kills, 8 kills, 3 deaths. So picking up another kill here with it would be fantastic. And I'm going to go for a U-turn, finish off this Shelmet. This thing's going to die. Tapu Koko picking up its 9th kill of the season. A fantastic season so far for Koko. Devastating striker. But yeah, we're going to go out into Stoutland. I feel like it was a good play there to go out into this thing. And yeah, there's an Excadrill in front of me. I have superpower, but the way she brings this in makes me think that she knows that and she's going to go out to Crobat to predict it. So I'm just going to go straight for the easy return. This thing's burnt. It's not going to take a return too well. And indeed, decent damage. And that's a 2-hit KO. So she does go into the Crobat. That thing's now severely weakened. If I had rocks up, this thing would have been nearly dead. But I'm going to chicken out here. I'm going to make an offensive play, and I'm going to switch right out into Koko. Or Landorus, sorry. I'm going to switch right out into Landorus, making an offensive play as she's going to go for a roost. And now I'm just like, for frig's sake, why didn't I just stay in and return? This Crobat's giving me all kinds of problems. I really like Crobat, but it's an annoying as hell mon to face when it's physically defensive like this. I can't deal with it. It's horrid. So yeah, this Crobat's now back up at full health. It's going to go for a Sludge Bomb, as I want a slow U-turn on this thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a slow U-turn, get myself out into Koko, who should outspeed, because from what I've seen, this thing is indeed physically defensive. So Koko's going to come in, and now it's time to make my manly play. She switches out into Excadrill here. I am able to kill that thing from the range it is at. So I'm going to stay in on this thing and go straight for a Guardian of Alola. I don't have my electric terrain up anymore, which isn't great, but I am going to go for the Guardian of Alola, predicting the switch, but she's not going to switch. She's going to stay in and go for a Sludge Bomb on Koko after I hit this Guardian of Alola. So yeah, we're going to watch the beautiful animation, the first Z move that we've used all season, and it comes in the form of a giant morph. I don't know what that thing is. It's like a giant clay model. Yeah, it's going to do 75% of that thing's health, leave it in the red, as it's going to go for a Sludge Bomb. Now, you'd be thinking, why would you do that? Why would you not just go for Spark? The reason being that now this thing is pressured, and she has to switch out. Or she has to stay in and risk me killing off her wing condition, because at the moment this Crobat is the only thing stopping me from just sweeping with Landorus. So, I'm going to go for a Spark here, but trying to kill this thing off. I couldn't go for a Brave Bird because the recoil would have killed me. I needed to go for Spark, as she's going to switch in the Excadrill. That thing is just going to, it's going to take a Spark fairly well, because it's immune to it. And it's not going to take anything, but the poison is not going to kill me. It's actually going to leave me on 1 health. So Koko can now fire off a U-turn, keep itself around for fodder, and yeah, we're going to go right out with Koko into hitting the field for the first time. Sizzle, Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is going to come in, and I thought that this was as good a time as any to either set up or go for a stealth or go for a superpower. I probably, in hindsight, should have gone for Swords Dance here, because I still could hit Clefable for a lot of damage, but instead I'm going to go for a superpower as she goes for Crobat. Brilliant prediction from her. Once again, she's been on point with these predictions. I've tried to put myself in a position where I didn't need to make any of those 50-50 calls. I made the one with Stoutland and then messed up the next turn. But as you're going to see, this superpower. What was that damage? Fucking Megas are broken, man. Mega Sizzle's broken in this format. That damage is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's so much damage. But yeah, She's predicted that very nicely. I'm just going to go for a bullet punch because if she's going to stay in, I'm going to kill this thing. If she switches out, I lose nothing because I can sword stance. She is going to stay in and let this thing die. Thank God that Crobat goes down. Mega Sizzle coming up with its I think that's its 4th kill of the season. And yeah, we're going to now switch out because we have a lot of fodder. And at this point, Landorus and Stoutland win the game for me. So unfortunately, I'm going to let Coco go down. It was either Coco or Mantine, and I thought that Mantine was more important in this game because I was silly. Coco was going to do absolutely nothing, and yeah. So we're going to go out into P-Holler, who's now on 16 health. We have Earthquake to hit like everything that's left. She's going to sacrifice the Excadrill to the Landorus here. Landorus picking up his 2nd kill of the season here. I believe it's his 2nd kill anyway. Yeah. Excadrill obviously not going to take that at all. Excadrill goes down. We have 2 things left in front of us. A Roserade and a Clefable. Now this Clefable could still pull it back for her. She could still win the game with this Clefable if it's if it's Cosmic Power, physically defensive. I can't 2-hit KO it. I'm going to go for the Earthquake. It's going to do enough for a 2-hit KO. She goes for Calm Mind. She does not have Cosmic Power. We can kill this with another Earthquake. Hopefully, that will be the game. Unless it's like Quick Attack or something. But yeah, we're going to go for Earthquake. This Clefable's going to go down. And I think you can all tell that we're then going to be able to kill Roserade. And that will be a win for Birmingham Spritzee this week. We're going to beat Ellie. First time we've played in 2 years. And this is going to be the first time I've beaten her. So Earthquake is obviously going to kill this Roserade. It's not a physically defensive one. That's just going to die, and that will be the game. Landorus cleaning up with 3 kills at the end. Now, what do I say about this game? The only thing I have to say about this game is what the actual hell was it? Now, I should not have won that game. I'm going to tell you right here, right now. The flinch with Mantine won me that game because I would have had nothing to deal with that Clefable had Shelmet managed to Baton Pass and Acid Armor into it. It would have just completely messed me up. I wouldn't have been able to break it, and that would have been a game, probably a 5-0 too early. I don't know if I'd have been able to take out the Clefable, and that would have been the 2nd time in 2 seasons where I've been killed, messed up by a Clefable. But luckily, Mantine has been trained in the mountains to get that flinch, to get those kills, to stop that Shelmet from doing its dirty Baton Pass stuff. And yeah, that's the game. Unfortunately, sometimes these things happen. It's very unfortunate on Ellie's end. I really feel bad for her in hindsight because that would have just straight up won her the game by quite a high margin as well. It would have probably given her a 5-4-0, but because that's happened, I've somehow managed to maneuver myself into a position where I can sweep with Landorus. I mean, because there was no Conkeldurr there, I really felt like I was in a strong position from the start. I messed up by not looking at Shelmet too much. I didn't think that thing was coming at all. I didn't think that there was any reason for her to bring that this week, and she very nearly pulled off one of the most incredible Baton Pass Acid Armor things that I've ever seen. If that would have worked, I would have only been able to clap at that. I would simply have just had to clap and be like, okay, you've got me. But yeah, it was a long game, very stressful. I was very annoyed during it. I was saying some very nasty things. But yeah, great game, Ellie. Unfortunate about the hacks. I wish you the best of luck for the rest of your season. And next week we're going to be playing Liam, Unlawful Exile, and his West Chan United. Now, if you remember from the last couple of seasons, we actually had Liam in like a relegation battle, and we managed to come up with a 2-0 win, which ended up keeping us in the division, whereas Liam managed to stay up during the relegation playoff. And last season we played him week 1 and beat him again 3-0. We had Volcanion doing a lot of work that week. And yeah, I'm not a fan of his draft. So next week will be a very interesting game, but I'm sure that we can pick up a win and hopefully get ourselves back into a promotion race. We're now, I believe, 4th in the table, which means that we have a fantastic chance of doing exactly that. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you've appreciated this video. If you have, don't forget to leave a like and all of that good stuff down in the, you know, the stuff down below. And I will see you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.